Hi, welcome to Toys in the Hood, and welcome to part 3 of our look at the origins of the Primarch names. So we're looking at the final 6 chapters now, and I think these are some of the more interesting ones. Some of these are really good. First up, we've got Magnus the Red of the Thousand Suns. So Magnus is another Latin word meaning great, but I think this name goes a little bit deeper than that, or at least the effects of it does. It has a great influence over the path of the chapter. So there's Albert Magnus. Albert Magnus was a bishop in the 13th century, and he was a great advocate of the peaceful coexistence between science and religion, which is a similar battle to what Magnus fights at the Council of Nicaea in the novel The Thousand Suns. Now, the Council of Nicaea, with a C, in 323 AD, was the first council of Christian bishops brought together by the Emperor Constantine. Now, there's the suffix of the red in his name, so Magnus the Red, which kind of makes him feel like some sort of Norse monster. Or, you know, it's almost a Viking name, like there's Eric the Red, who was famous. And this seems quite apt, given the Thousand Suns' hatred of the Space Wolves. And last of all, Magnus the Red wasn't always red, as you can see looking at this epic model. So Horus, of the chapter The Lunar Wolves, or the Sons of Horus. Horus is one of the Egyptian gods. He's the son of Osiris and Isis. His left eye was gouged out, which gives us the Eye of Horus symbol. And in Egyptian mythology, Horus is a good guy, quite often battling his uncle Set to protect Egypt. So he has his own symbol, which is the Eye of Horus. And if we take a look at that, and then if we take a look at the Eye of Ulthwé, which is the Eldar Craftworld symbol, you can see some similarities there. And then it's Horus Lupercal. Lupercal is the name of the cave where the she-wolf suckled Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. So the story of them is they were abandoned, which in many ways is what's happened with all of the Primarchs. They've been abandoned, cast out, and then they've been raised by various heroes, you know, important people on their planets, which has influenced how they grew up. So the Lupercal is where this she-wolf suckled Romulus and Remus before they went and they founded Rome. And then also, William Shakespeare, his Julius Caesar, begins with the Roman festival, the Lupercalia, which possibly, using Lupercal, this is sort of foreshadowing how the emperor, you know, in this case who would be Julius Caesar, is overthrown by his trusted confidant and friend, Brutus. Brutus is very much like Horus in this regard when he overthrows him with some of the other senators. So there's a bit of foreshadowing there as to what's going to happen to the emperor. Third one today is Lorgar of the Wordbearers. So not too sure on this one, but Logar is a province in Afghanistan, and the name is a combination of Loi, which means great, and Gar, which means mountain. And this explanation does kind of have a resonance of biblical stories, which feels quite in keeping with the Wordbearers and their mission. Lorgar's second name is Aurelian. Aurelian means golden, but it could also be named after Marcus Aurelius, who was one of the last emperors and is the Roman emperor of gladiator fame. I think more interesting, the first chaplain, Erebus, in the Wordbearers, is named after a Greek deity who was one of the 5 creatures that came to existence from chaos. His name literally means a place of darkness between Earth and Hades, which seems to be the perfect name for a character that is going to tempt people to follow chaos and away from the Imperium. Then there's Vulkan of the Salamanders. So Vulcan was the Roman god of fire and smithing, so this just works quite nicely with the salamanders there. Now, in legend, salamanders have always been associated with fire. And this is possibly because salamanders would hide in wood, and then when it was put on when you put it on that piece of wood on a fire, the salamander, when it's hot, would leap out. So obviously it leaps out to stop itself being burned alive, but that gives the appearance that salamanders sprung into life from the fire. And then we have Corax, or the Raven Guard. This one's really, really simple. The Primarch is Corvus Corax. Corvus Corax is the Latin species name for the common raven. That's it. So there you have Raven of the Raven Guard. So our last chapter is Alpharius and Omegon of the Alpha Legions. Alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet. Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet. Hence the beginning and the end. Peculiarly enough, the Alpha Legion is the final of the first founding legions. The choice of the Hydra as a symbol is ideal for a group of infiltrators, as whenever a Hydra loses its head, 2 more grow back in its place. And then there's very much this I am Alpharius, where the legions themselves, the legionaries, are indistinguishable from Alpharius and Omegon. And this I am Alpharius is very reminiscent of the end of the Kirk Douglas movie Spartacus. At the end of this, the Romans are going to execute the rebellious Spartacus. They want to find the leader. And then all of the slaves rise up and just say, I am Spartacus. So that's been our run through of all of the Primarch names and where they came from. I'm going to look to do some more of these in future. There's certainly Tyranids, and then there's certain key Space Marine characters that I'd like to look at as well. And then if you've got any requests, please pop them in the chat and I'll see what I can find out and I'll share it with you. Researching this has been really good fun, and you know, it's a little bit educational. So yeah, so thank you very much for your time. I'm Steve from Toys in the Hood. Please like, subscribe, you know, and if you've enjoyed this, tell your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, tell them and maybe they'll enjoy it.